Hello everyone, good afternoon, good evening and good morning from wherever you are watching from. I am Comfort Oladireti Adedigbe and I am welcoming you today to Healing Heart Haven. And today we will be talking about an important topic to maintaining a healthy and good relationship, and it is just to explore the crucial role of emotional intelligence in building, maintaining strong and healthy relationship. So before we dive into how emotional intelligence can help our relationship, let's first look at emotional intelligence. So this refers to our ability to recognize and to understand emotions in ourselves and other people. It involves being aware of emotional triggers, managing our emotions, and using this awareness to guide our thoughts and action. So you will realize that everything we need to do to have good and healthy relationship is embodied in that definition. Before we go further, I would like to remember the definition my coach gave me during our training, and because it's important, so it's so simple that we could easily understand what emotional intelligence really is. So when we are talking of emotional intelligence, according to my coach, it is the accepting and embracing all emotions. And not that alone, it's also the ability to transform unhealthy and uncomfortable emotions into comfortable and healthy emotions. Reactions that are healthy and reactions that are not healthy. But this would depend on if you understand your emotion. If you understand your emotion and if you can guide your thoughts, all this will help you, have healthy and comfortable relationship. So you are better than who you think you are. And why did I say that? Some of us do not know how to handle our emotions. When it comes to people behaving or doing one thing or the other to us, we react to what people do to us most times, and we react unhealthily. And so when we do that, sometimes we have guilt and shame after those reactions, and we think we are bad or we can't do better. But as far as you know and you understand your trigger and you can control your thoughts, then you are better than who you think you are. So there are components of emotional intelligence, and majorly we have 4 key components of emotional intelligence. Number 1, as we have described in our definition, is self-awareness. You must firstly understand your own emotion. What's your level of emotion? What emotion are you going through at any point in time or at a particular time? You must be able to recognize this emotion, and you must be able to understand this emotion at any point in time. So being aware of emotion, know your trigger, is very important. And when you are talking of trigger, is anything or any event that causes emotional reaction. That is trigger. And when you are not talking of trigger can come from people, it can come from places, it can come from events, it can come from incidents, and so on and so forth. And so when you know that things like this triggers you, then you have the understanding of how to manage such thing. And that leads us to the second component, and that is self-management. Managing our emotion effectively. You'll be able to manage it, because we are coming from the point where you know your own emotion, where you know your trigger. Then as a result of that, you are able to control and that emotion effectively. And one paramount thing in managing our emotion is when we can control our thoughts, because what you think controls your emotion. Another component is social awareness. That is recognizing and understanding emotions in others. People, sometimes we are selfish about our emotions, and we think that other people are cause us one pain or the other, and so as a result of that, we don't even consider those people around us. We don't consider what they are going through. At any point in time that that particular person is acting the way he or she is acting, he or she too is going through an emotional, emotions that he might not be able to tell you at that time, or she might not be able to tell you at that time. So if you don't recognize and understand the emotion in other, you have children, you must know, learn and understand their emotions. Your parents, you must know and understand their emotion. That's why sometimes they will say, I want to, let's be, some people, they will tell you that, let's be watching her mood. There are some people like that. They say, you can't go to her now. This time if you say anything, she will react or he will react. Because at that point in time, they have recognized the mood and the emotions of that individual, of that particular boss. So nobody goes to her, nobody goes to him when, he or she is manifesting that kind of emotion. Relationship management, that's another component. That is using emotional intelligence to build and maintain strong relationship. Because if you don't use this emotional intelligence to recognize, the emotions of other people and be able to build healthy relationship with that individual, even between spouse, husband and wife, you must recognize and understand the emotion of your spouse. You must understand and recognize and understand the emotion of your friends. Having spoken about the components of emotional intelligence, how do we now apply emotional intelligence in relationship? So in our relationship, there are some strategies that we need to put in place for us to have healthy relationship, and one of it is active listening. Pay attention to others and try to understand their perspective. You are not just the only one here. You are not just the only team member in that team to achieve that goal. You are not just the only person in that family. It's not all the time that they will be hearing your own voice. Other people have voices. Let them express themselves. In the relationship where you are the only one talking, you are talking, you don't even consider the other people. Their perspective is nothing to you. You are the island there. You are the all in all. That relationship can never be healthy. Another thing, as I've mentioned earlier, is empathy. Put yourself in other people's shoes and feel what they are feeling. There's this story I heard that there is this person in one neighborhood. They live together in the same neighborhood, and they find out that each time, during festive period, everybody share food, everybody share gifts and all that. And they find out that each time they give food to this particular guy, he doesn't take. He will just politely reject their food and say, please, thank you, I don't want. And so somebody came to that neighborhood and they were serving people around that. Their family were serving people in that neighborhood, and one person said, you have not served this person. And the woman said, he will not collect. That he will not collect. The lady said, okay, no problem, dish the food for me, give me 2 spoons. And he took that food with the 2 spoons and went to the man's house. And when she got there, knocked the door, the man opened and said, okay, what can I do for you? How can I help you? He said, can I enter? I said, why do you want to enter? I just want to enter. I'm not eating. I have not rejected it the way he used to do. That one said, let me enter first. So as she entered, the man saw that she brought in the food with 2 spoons. And she now said, why did you bring 2 spoons? And she said, so that we eat together. So okay, well, it's good we eat together. While we are talking, we can eat together. And reluctantly, the guy picked the spoon and they ate the food together. And while they were eating, he said, it has been a long time I ate anybody's food. And the lady was asking what happened. He said, my parents, my family were poisoned. I was the only survivor. And so if anybody sees, nobody has ever asked him why he has not been taking that food. So if anybody reacts to you, if anybody behaves to you in one manner, the best thing you can do at that time is to ask. Because if you don't ask, if you don't put yourself in the shoe of that person and you are judging that person at that point in time, we don't know what's he's so proud, he's not taking anybody's food, we don't know the money he has. But meanwhile, something has happened to that individual that made him stop eating people's food. So put people in your shoe, have empathy. And another one is effective communication. Communicate clearly and respectfully, and try to avoid conflicts. In so many occasions, people argue about things, and even among husband and wife, you are just the argue type. You argue and argue and argue. Why don't you just sit down and communicate clearly, distinctly, explain politely with all respect? Word is powerful, and it builds relationship and it brings down relationship. Most people that divorce can be lack of communication, lack of clear and clarity, words that can explain why you have behaved in such manner, and do it politely and respectfully. While I was working, I love one attitude of my boss, my project coordinator. She's a younger person, but she will just come to me and say, Mrs. Adedugbe, can you please help us do this? She's sending me on an errand, but she's politely telling me to do that thing, and I have not even started doing that thing. She has added, thank you. So communication is important in relationship. Another thing is conflict resolution. Use emotional intelligence to resolve conflict in a constructive way. There's one thing they taught us. We call it NPL. I think that is Neuro Programming Linguistic. In other words, you learn how to put words better when you are communicating with people. So you use that style of communication to resolve conflicts. Okay, I have done something bad to a friend, because nobody is above errors and mistakes. I've committed that mistake, and you can politely go to that person and resolve that conflict peacefully. What is the essence of being in a relationship and you just want to be the boss? You don't want to come down to listen, and when you are listening, every other word is doesn't make sense to you. No, learn to resolve conflict peacefully. So what are the benefits of emotional intelligence in relationship? Having gone through the ways you can have healthy relationship through emotional intelligence. No, number one is by applying emotional intelligence in our relationship. When we apply emotional intelligence in our relationship, we can build stronger connections. And how do you apply emotional intelligence? I know what triggers my husband. My husband knows what triggers me. And so when we understand those things, then we are able to, accommodate ourselves. That, okay, when my emotion is heightened, my husband knows what to do. When my husband emotion is heightened, I know what to do. That is the essence of emotional intelligence. We know when our emotions are heightened. We know what triggers it, and so as much as possible we avoid all these triggers, because we want good and comfortable, healthy relationship. So it helps us through emotional intelligence to tame, to name, and to know our triggers, and to avoid triggers, and to handle conflicts. So emotional intelligence helps us to understand and connect with others on a deeper level. Deeper in the sense that I know you, I know people around me, I know people that I work with. It's not all the time that you don't understand. When I know that, okay, this person's mood is changing, I'll just ask, what's it? Are you hungry? Jokingly, are you hungry? Is it food issue? Emotional intelligence helps us to communicate more effectively and avoid conflict. I know what to say. I know how to program my words now. I am a better person. Before I have this training, I can, you know, some people will just say, let me just give it to her. Let me just, that's my style, that's my life, that's the way I was brought up. You want to say everything inside of you, you know, communicate. You are not even showing empathy. So when you are communicating, please consider emotional intelligence and program your word before passing it across to the other people. Emotional intelligence helps us to understand and appreciate other perspective, because you understand that you are not the only one that will hear and we know, understand things. You are not the only one in that team. If you can do it alone, you will not have been a member of that team. Listen to other people's perspective. Emotional intelligence is very important to healthy and comfortable relationship. So I'm going to conclude by telling us that by developing our emotional intelligence, we can build stronger and more meaningful relationships and improve our overall well-being. Emotional intelligence is a skill that can be developed with practice and patience. And let me conclude by telling you one of our slogan or affirmation, or what will I call it, that we were taught during our training. And it says, your emotion is your friend. Your emotion is your responsibility. Your emotion is your Superman. In other words, you can control your emotion and you can be good with people and in relationship with people around you. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or any topic that you want us to discuss, please leave them in our comment section below. Thank you for watching. God bless you. See you in our next video.